All right. Well, good morning, dear ones. We are SOTU, and this is SOTUesday for the 10th day of October 2016. And we think a lot of the hubbub from over the weekend and last Friday has what shall we say, calm down to the point where you might be able to discuss the reflections of what has been going on somewhat reasonably and with what shall we say, a measure of understanding and detachment that might allow you to have a bigger picture of the whole dynamic of what is going on. Now, if we were to ask you, what seems to be going on, and it seems to be a very primarily based dynamic between men and women, between the masculine and the feminine. And we would suggest to you that within the dynamics of the divisional type of reality that you have been living in, where everything is divide and rule and divide and conquer and win and lose and bigger and bigger and bigger, then you are eventually come to a reality where you cannot expand any longer without reconsidering the dynamics that brought you to where you were, where you are, and that is emotionally, energetically, spiritually, physically, where you are now, what you are experiencing now. And we are specifically speaking to you Americans, but the truth of the matter is that the repercussions of this dynamic echoes throughout your entire universe, throughout your entire world. So, understand that this is nothing more than an extension of the battle of the sexes. This is an extension of the dynamic of denying who you truly are as sexual physical beings. And in the denial of your sexuality, you get aberrant behavior that is represented everything with all the way from the most radical Muslim who or Islamic who is seeking to, through certain laws, through Sharia law, restricting and controlling the dynamic of the feminine, all the way to the dynamics of the Christian who is deeply involved in the dynamic of anti-abortion and all of that. And, we are going to paint with a broad brush here, including the ultra-religious Jews. And this is a brush that can be painted across the whole dynamic of religions. And it's all about divide and conquer, and it is all about controlling the feminine. And it's all about the feminine controlling itself, because you must realize, those of you that are inhabiting feminine bodies right now are responsible as the masculine for your situation now. And the dynamics of Donald and Hillary are just a reflection of that dynamic. You are each a product of your environment, just as Donald and Hillary are products of their environment. Donald is nearly, or perhaps is already 70 years old. That puts him in the same category as this one. So we know the energy well. We know the way that they were brought up. We know the way that the masculine was taught to identify, the personas that they were taught to wear, the roles that they had to take on, just as we well know the feminine and the dynamics that you took on and the dynamics that you projected and the dynamics, and that has changed somewhat, that has moved, that has grown to a great deal, and yet you are in denial of from whence you have come. And because of that, you are creating this great morality play, which really is not applicable to today. The problems of your world are much more severe than so many of you believe, and so many of you are willing to believe. Now, part of that is a dynamic of wishing to maintain a certain dynamic of having worked a whole lifetime and finding oneself in a position that one never expected oneself to be in. It is also a dynamic of living in a life, coming into a reality that is saying to you, and we are talking to you millennials, and we are talking to those of you that are younger, that your world doesn't have the opportunity that your parents had. And because of that, you have to fight harder. You have to compete more. You have to be better than the next person because there's not enough. And you're going to have to fight with each other in order to survive in this world. You are all still living in a Darwinian paradigm of survival of the fittest, which is exacerbated by the dynamics of your financial system. You will not begin to move beyond the dynamics until you begin to reconsider the roles and who you came from, who you were, and who you wish to be. Denial of oneself will not lead to enlightenment. Denial of one's physicality and the urges and the aberrant behavior of so many because of the repression of the true dynamics of who you truly are as emotional, physical, sexual beings. It is the denial of your sexuality that has led to everything from pedophilia to today's politics. Oh, we'll have so much more for you next week. So until then, we close, sending you peace, sending you happiness, sending you joy.